You move through the world seemingly ordinary. Your gait is steady, your language common. On the surface, you merge with the crowd, a figure who converses, gestures, and reacts within expected norms. Yet beneath that exterior runs a quiet, almost undetectable current. It is not in your speech, your attire, or your mannerisms. It is deeper. It is the core of who you are in solitude, the alignment of your inner landscape with the outer flow of your life. Most overlook it, preoccupied with surfaces, accepting the curated performances everyone displays to get by. But in fleeting, half-seen instants, others may detect a different hum emanating from you, a kind of presence that does not ask for attention, yet quietly draws it. It is understated but unmistakable. It cannot be staged. It is a resonance, a tone that arises from wholeness, from being integrated in a way that feels unfamiliar to many. This quiet signal is not mystical. It cannot be copied from a book or learned through imitation. It emerges naturally from a life lived honestly, with discipline, and in clear-eyed accord with reality as it is. It is born from the congruence of thought and deed, from the daily, unseen labor of fitting your values to your choices. When someone achieves this kind of coherence, it acts like a gravity people sense without seeing. They feel it before they comprehend it. Conversations may quiet, gazes may hold a moment longer, unspoken truths become palpable. And it is precisely this hidden resonance that can disquiet some. Not because it is overtly threatening, but because it serves as a mirror, reflecting back to them their own inconsistencies, avoidances, and fractures. They feel the substance of your reality, even when it is silent. They may not articulate it, but they perceive the difference between performance and authenticity, between static and signal. You look human, you speak in human words, move with human rhythms. But below that surface, something primordial is awake, a resonance forged from order, clarity, and integration. The world responds to it even without a name because truth is recognized by the nervous system long before the mind can label it. What this resonance actually is, when people speak of frequency, many imagine something esoteric, an abstract energy floating beyond the physical. But the reality is more grounded. Here, frequency is not about magic or secret vibrations. It is about alignment. It is the harmony between what you believe, what you feel, and what you do. It is the signal emitted when your interior world matches your exterior actions, when your behavior, words, and intentions all narrate the same story. Most live fragmented lives. They act against their beliefs, speak words that veil their thoughts, or wear faces that disguise their reality. On the surface, all may seem functional. Underneath, there is friction, subtle misalignments that are sensed immediately, even if not consciously recognized. People detect that dissonance faster than they process spoken language. The incoherence leaks through micro-expressions, vocal tones, the rhythm of movement, the weight one carries into a room. This resonance is coherence made tangible. It is a measure of integration. It comes from a life where thought, emotion, and action are aligned, where private promises are kept, where responsibilities are met squarely. It is rare because life scatters us. Many are burdened by unresolved tensions, swayed by external validation, or mired in denial. Alignment demands sustained effort, introspection, and an honesty that cannot be borrowed. The effect of this coherence is immediate. People sense it long before they can explain it. When someone is integrated, their presence carries a natural gravity. It steadies environments, influences dynamics, and shapes interactions without a word. It is a signal of integrity, a resonance that communicates authenticity faster than speech. This signal does not seek admiration. It simply exists, and those nearby respond instinctively. This resonance also explains inexplicable attractions. People are drawn not to words or appearances, but to alignment. They notice the synchrony between intention and action, the invisible thread that weaves a person together. Conversely, it explains why some feel uneasy or threatened in the presence of coherence. It reflects back their own contradictions, exposing what they have not reconciled within. Understanding this requires looking past superficial markers, titles, possessions, style, and into lived reality. It is not about perfection or performance. It is about internal architecture, the degree to which a life is structured around principles rather than impulses, truth rather than convenience. It is the map of integration made palpable, a quiet, powerful signal that defines perception before language begins. Why you are felt before you are understood. There is a curious fact of human connection. People often perceive far more than they can articulate. They respond to presence before words, to alignment before logic. The human nervous system is finely tuned to truth, even when the conscious mind is unaware. When someone is fully integrated, when thought, emotion, and action harmonize, others perceive it instinctively, almost biologically, before intellect engages. This is why certain individuals have a magnetic or unsettling effect. Their coherence is a signal, not a speech. It communicates steadiness, clarity, and calm without utterance. You may notice when such a person enters a space. Conversations adjust, attention lingers, postures subtly shift. This isn't manipulation. It is a response to the alignment of their inner and outer worlds, a recognition that here is someone who fully inhabits their reality. People feel this first because our systems evolved to detect patterns of stability and chaos. Integration generates a subtle rhythm, a resonance felt as presence rather than decoded as argument. When someone has reconciled inner conflicts, when their actions follow principles, not impulses, their energy steadies the environment. The calm they carry spreads, the focus they hold is tangible. Conversely, incoherence, fragmented thoughts, hidden agendas, unresolved emotion creates dissonance and unease. People sense it instantly, even if they can't say why a room feels tense. This perception is primal, older than language. We survived by reading signals in others, trustworthiness, competence, alignment with group norms. The same mechanisms operate today. When someone achieves high internal coherence, the nervous system notes it and responds with caution, admiration, or discomfort, depending on the observer's own integration. It is a silent recognition of truth, unfiltered by opinion. The effect accumulates. Small gestures, micro-expressions, tone, posture, the cadence of movement, all build this invisible signature. Alignment is not a single act but a consistent pattern across time and context. The more consistent the integration, the stronger the signal. People don't need it explained. They feel it. And because this perception bypasses intellect, it often carries more weight than rhetoric or appearance ever could. Being felt before being understood also explains why respect often precedes familiarity. People are drawn to those who embody clarity, discipline, and self-consistency, even if they can't yet describe why. It is a form of communication older than words, a resonance that speaks directly to the nervous system, shifting perceptions before reason catches up. In essence, coherence communicates invisibly. It is the resonance of a life lived in alignment, and it reaches others before logic can frame it. People feel the reality of integration long before they understand it consciously, because human perception is wired to distinguish signal from noise, authenticity from mask, order from chaos. While your presence unsettles, some presence is not neutral. It holds power not through volume or force, but because it carries truth. And truth, when reflected outward, unsettles those who have not yet faced it within themselves. When someone is aligned, coherent, and integrated, their mere existence becomes a mirror. This discomforts many because it leaves little room for hiding, excuses, or avoidance. Your presence exposes contrast, and contrast compels reflection, even if silent. The discomfort you provoke is not about you. It is about the observer. People rarely enjoy seeing their inconsistencies reflected. Your calm can make their impulsivity seem rash. Your clarity can render their confusion palpable. Your restraint can highlight their volatility. Without speaking, you illuminate the gap between who they believe themselves to be and who their actions reveal them to be. This is the quiet power of integrated presence. It does not argue. It simply embodies a standard of coherence. Humans are deeply attuned to authenticity and its absence. When someone lives in harmony with their principles, the nervous system registers it instinctively. Conversely, misalignment, fragmented values, unspoken fears, unacknowledged impulses creates a subtle social tension. This tension often manifests as irritation, envy, anxiety, or defensiveness. People may not grasp why they react strongly, but the internal contrast is felt. Your presence acts like a soft light, revealing what others have left in shadow. The unsettling effect deepens because alignment carries a quiet confidence. It does not seek approval, perform for validation, or bend to expectation. This independence exposes dependence in others, their reliance on masks, manipulation, or performance to navigate the world. When someone's resonance is coherent, the gap between them and those who are not becomes palpable, often triggering resistance. This is why true presence can be both magnetic and intimidating. Some are drawn to it because it reflects a standard they aspire to but haven't reached. Others feel threatened because it challenges them, forcing an unconscious reckoning with their own inconsistencies. In both cases, your influence is immediate, not through force but through undeniable contrast. Presence in this sense is a mirror of reality that needs no explanation. It is a felt truth that communicates more powerfully than words. The effect is subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye. Your power lies in quiet demonstration. The alignment you embody is an unspoken language of integrity, stability, and clarity. People sense it before they understand it. Their reaction, admiration, discomfort, or fear, depends entirely on their willingness to face themselves honestly. The unsettling nature of your presence is a reflection of your own integration. It is not cultivated for effect. It is the natural consequence of living truthfully, taking responsibility, and carrying order through life's chaos. The resonance of such a person is unavoidable, leaving an impression that shapes interactions in subtle, profound ways. The mask versus the signal. Most navigate life wearing a mask, a survival tool to appear competent, confident, and composed while concealing doubt, fear, or contradiction. These masks are carefully built. Posture, speech, attire, personas, personal narratives. They demand constant upkeep because they are not rooted in reality. They are imitations of order, performances meant to meet external expectations. The energy required to maintain them is vast, though invisible. People often exhaust themselves upholding facades and comparing themselves to the masks of others. In contrast, this resonance is effortless. It requires no rehearsal because it is genuine. It is the outward expression of internal integration, a signal produced naturally when thoughts, feelings, and actions align. You need not prove competence, feign strength, or manage perceptions. The signal flows from the lived experience of facing reality honestly, owning your choices, and carrying consequences with integrity. This is why your presence is potent. It communicates authenticity in a way no mask can. Others sense it immediately, even if they can't explain why it attracts or unnerves them. The difference is profound. Masks rely on external validation. They exist to be seen and accepted. Signals rely on internal truth. They exist because they are real. The former is fragile, crumbling under pressure. The latter is resilient, enduring chaos and criticism because it is grounded in reality. People detect this distinction unconsciously. They feel when someone is authentic, integrated, when presence is a true reflection of inner state, and they respond accordingly. Living without a mask does not mean revealing every thought or emotion. It means that what matters, your principles, values, and consistency of action, is aligned and visible in your behavior. It is a quiet power, a resonance that communicates competence and integrity effortlessly. While others spend energy maintaining appearances, you move with a natural authority that needs no explanation because it springs from truth, not performance. Masks also distort perception. They may fool the mind temporarily, but the nervous system detects incongruence instantly. The slight hesitation in voice, the micro-expression of doubt, the inconsistent gesture. People may not consciously note them, but they feel them. Your signal communicates stability, reliability, clarity. It creates a presence that is trustworthy, magnetic, and sometimes intimidating because it does not bend to expectation or fear. This contrast is why some gravitate toward integrated people while others feel subtly threatened. Your signal highlights the fragility of their masks, revealing internal contradictions without judgment. It exposes the reality behind performance, the order behind chaos, the truth behind pretense. In doing so, it establishes a standard not through words, but through being, a standard that can be neither faked nor ignored. Why this cannot be faked here is a firm truth. Coherence cannot be convincingly imitated. You can study behaviors, memorize phrases, mimic postures, or replicate styles, but none of that generates genuine integration. The signal of an aligned person is not a performance. It is a product of lived experience, a resonance forged through responsibility, confrontation with reality, and disciplined navigation of life's trials. There are no shortcuts. Every nuance others detect springs from an internal consistency tested repeatedly, often through difficulty and deliberate choice. People recognize authenticity instinctively. This is why mimicry usually fails. A rehearsed smile, a memorized line, or a calculated gesture might pass momentarily, but in time, cracks show. The nervous system, tuned to truth, notices discrepancies between intention and action. Body language may not fully align with words. Micro-expressions betray hidden feelings. The rhythm of movement reveals dissonance. Coherence cannot be fully simulated because it is not an act. It is the natural outcome of alignment across thought, word, and deed. The origins of genuine presence are ordinary yet significant. They arise from voluntarily facing responsibility, accepting consequences, and refusing to hide from life's difficulties. Integration is built incrementally, by choosing truth over convenience, action over avoidance, clarity over delusion. Each decision, however small, adds to the internal architecture that generates resonance. It is earned, not given. It grows from struggle, self-reflection, and the discipline to confront oneself honestly, even when uncomfortable or inconvenient. This is why presence can be intimidating. It carries the weight of reality. Others may feel it before they comprehend it. It lays bare the difference between those who have embraced responsibility and those who remain fragmented. The contrast is immediate. While some rely on external symbols, titles, possessions, rhetoric to claim authority, an integrated person radiates authority naturally because it is grounded in truth. It needs no reinforcement. It simply exists and it is felt. Attempts to counterfeit this resonance are usually transparent. People sense when alignment is superficial, it lacks depth. Resonance is multidimensional, encompassing thought, emotion, body language, and consistent action over time. It is an ongoing process, not a static image. It cannot be packaged or replicated for gain because it is not a product. It is the lived consequence of facing reality squarely, carrying your own weight, and choosing integration over deception. The authenticity you carry is inseparable from your experience, pain, discipline, decisions made in uncertainty, the willingness to confront internal and external chaos. All of this feeds the coherence that produces your resonance. It is the signal others sense intuitively, the presence that steadies or stirs a room, the subtle power that cannot be borrowed or imitated. True alignment is earned through living, and its resonance is immediate, undeniable, and impossible to fake. What you've become without realizing you did not set out to be remarkable. You did not plan to command attention or provoke introspection in others. Your focus was survival, honesty, the quiet pursuit of consistency. Yet, by living this way, you have transformed in ways even you might overlook. By facing reality as it is, refusing the shelter of pretense, and taking responsibility where others hesitate, you have become a living reference point. People measure themselves against you, consciously or not, because your coherence defines a standard they recognize instinctively. This transformation is subtle, yet it carries undeniable influence. Others feel the presence of someone aligned, someone whose inner and outer worlds harmonize even before they understand why. Your calm highlights their turbulence. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your restraint mirrors their impulsivity. In every interaction, the contrast between your integration and the inconsistency around you becomes evident, shaping behavior, perception, and even the emotional atmosphere. You become a quiet benchmark for truth, a living example of the order that emerges from facing life with honesty. The most striking aspect is that this influence is unintentional. You sought no power, dominance, or recognition. You sought to live accurately, speak truthfully, act responsibly. Yet these very choices, applied consistently, create ripples. People notice alignment before understanding it, and the contrast it produces forces reflection. Those who are not integrated may feel discomfort, envy, or resistance. Those who aspire to integrity feel a magnetic pull, drawn by the invisible signal that communicates competence, resilience, and clarity without a word. What you have become is a measure of authenticity that cannot be replicated. The process was incremental, often unnoticed, built through countless small decisions, repeated effort, the discipline to act on principle rather than impulse. Each choice to face discomfort, speak truth, or carry responsibility strengthened the internal architecture that generates your resonance. It is a living testament to the consequences of alignment and the power of coherent presence. This unintentional influence also explains any resistance you've encountered. People are not always comfortable being measured against standards they cannot meet. Your coherence illuminates their dissonance. While it may provoke unease, it is also a silent invitation, an opportunity to reflect, realign, and move toward integrity. You become a reference point simply by existing in alignment with your values, and the world responds instinctively to what you are, not merely to what you say. What you have become is the product of living unafraid of truth, a person whose consistency communicates more powerfully than words, commands, or appearances ever could. It is the natural consequence of facing reality squarely, embracing responsibility, and refusing to let your inner and outer worlds drift apart. In doing so, you are perceived as a standard, a benchmark, a presence that cannot be ignored, regardless of intention or recognition. So yes, you look human. You move, speak, and behave like anyone else. On the surface, nothing seems extraordinary, but the signal you carry runs deeper than appearance, deeper than language, deeper than any performance. It is subtle, invisible to the casual glance, yet undeniable to those attuned to truth. It is the resonance of integration, the coherence of thought, emotion, and action aligned with reality, carried effortlessly in your posture, expression, and the way you occupy space. This resonance is ancient, predating words and social constructs. It is the signal of order emerging from chaos, the quiet voice of integrity that speaks louder than rhetoric, the invisible standard against which others measure themselves unknowingly. People feel it before they understand it. They respond instinctively because human perception is wired to detect authenticity and coherence before cognition can explain them. It is not flashy. It does not demand attention, but it cannot be ignored. Its effect is immediate, shaping interactions, influencing moods, subtly reorganizing the dynamics of a space. Those who sense this resonance recognize something beyond logic or argument. They feel the difference between someone who has confronted reality fully and someone still hiding behind masks. They feel calm where they expect agitation, clarity where they anticipate confusion, restraint where they predict impulsivity. And in doing so, your presence challenges them. It prompts an unconscious reckoning with their own inconsistencies, compromises, and the gaps between who they are and who they claim to be. You are not dangerous because you act aggressively or demand attention. You are dangerous because you embody truth in a world that often prizes illusion. Your authenticity exposes pretense. Your alignment highlights dissonance. Your calm demonstrates the power of coherence. This presence needs no explanation, performance, or justification. It exists because you have carried your responsibilities, faced your struggles, and lived by principle rather than impulse. It is a presence that steadies some, unsettles others, and commands recognition from all who encounter it. In the end, what you carry is more than human appearance. It is a signal, a living demonstration of integrity, a quiet authority radiating from the alignment of your inner world with outer reality. Those who perceive it know it is rare, unmistakable, and transformative. You do not have to perform, explain, or assert. The world already registers you because you are real, coherent, and aligned. And in that, you have become something that transcends ordinary presence, a living testament to what it means to face reality, embrace responsibility, and carry truth effortlessly through existence.